It's been 6 months since we were last racing in the NTT INDYCAR series, and those long winter months now banished to a distant memory, because here and now we are back to racing ways on the streets of St. Petersburg. The 2026 NTT INDYCAR series starts right here, right now. Everyone making it out on track, or at least attempting to make it out on track as soon as this session begins, because guys, there is rain in the air. No guarantee it will hit, but if it does, everybody wants to get out on track as early as possible and get some knowledge of this circuit. Yeah, about 1:35 local time right now here in St. Pete, and last I checked it was showing maybe sprinkles around 2 o'clock. So question I have already is for some of the rookies in this field, like Mick Schumacher, what do they do if rain comes? Because we don't think it's going to rain tomorrow, James, during qualifying. Doesn't look like it's going to rain on Sunday. Do you start to take a risk with the rookie and get them mileage, but in very treacherous conditions?
Yeah, I mean, rain around a street circuit, always tough, guys. I mean, it has to be just the right amount of rain. It's so easy to be too much here. They'll red flag it. They won't let the cars run for standing water and spray. So I think it's hopefully a situation where we're not going to have to deal with it. We can see right now 73 degrees. It's cloudy, but no rain in the area yet. Townsend touched on it. We have 3 rookies in the series this year. Mick Schumacher, of course, former F1 driver, Formula World Endurance Championship driver, making his way over to the NTT INDYCAR series for RLL. And then 2 of the standout drivers from last year's Indy Next Championship. Dennis Hauger, the Norwegian nightmare. What a dominant campaign he ran in 2025. He moves up to INDYCAR alongside his rival, Caio Collet. Collet with Foyt and Hauger with Dale Coyne Racing. And I cannot wait to see how each of those 3 gets on. But in particular, this guy, who turned up here last year as a rookie in the Indy Next Championship, took the pole, took the win. Loves this track. Yeah, huge talent, ton of experience with Dennis Hauger in Europe in F2. And, you know, James, this is a season where normally I'd say with rookie battles, we circle 1 or 2, and oftentimes there's one where we say this should be the standout this year. With these 3 rookies, with Hauger, Collet, and Schumacher, I could argue easily any of the 3 of those for a multitude of reasons. So we're hearing the reason for the red flag a little bit earlier was Dennis Hauger, so he's been held on pit lane for 5 minutes. An inauspicious start to his very first IndyCar session, as Palou drops the time to a 1:04.869. And I like seeing these guys out early. I like seeing Palou get out there, get on with the program. So often you see the beginning of this first practice really dominated by the rookie runners. Of course, the rookies get that extra set of Firestone tires to use in this first session. Usually guys like the Penske's and the Ganassis like seeing a couple cars go out there, clean the track up. But no, our defending champion, our reigning champion, is out there already pounding around. You see David Malucas in the new colors. But it's this guy right here that everybody's chasing. Not much has changed in the series, so there's not much reason to think that this 10 team isn't going to hit the ground running. But remember, we talk about things they could do better. This race last year, they were not the fastest car. No. They were a 4th place car. But Joseph Newgarden had problems, Scott Dixon had problems, Colton Herta had problems, and they just executed well and ended up with the win. Let's take a look at this issue with the 19 of Dennis Hauger and the debris. Oh, how does he have to sit for 5 minutes? I guess because the team left something loose. Let's zoom in there. It's not like he hit a wall. Oh, it's a spring. 3rd spring. Wow. You can't. Now, who's this? That looks like Will Power. And a big lockup down there into turn 1. Wow. Ooh, that's a really big one. I mean, you saw in that replay, the slow-mo, he just hit a bump right at the wrong time as that right front was unloaded. He was at peak brake pressure or close to it. Hangs up that right front and really struggled to get it unlocked. As you say, Hinch, a man with an unbelievable record around this track, has actually taken the pole 9 times, but has only started from it 8 times. Had to sit out 1 race because of a concussion. But his prowess around this circuit, second to none. Another little puff on the brakes as he comes through. Talking to him yesterday just about how he's finding it at a brand new team, because he's spent nearly 2 decades with Penske, and now he's changing organizations. He's got a different engine provider in the back of the car. How different is that for him? And he said, you know what, it's been almost effortless. It's just seemed like such a, and for him, he said, a move at exactly the right time. He turns 45 this weekend. He says he feels like he's 20 years old still. He has as much fire, as much desire as he has ever had, and he's able to bring so much of that experience that he has. First champion this team has run in half a decade, and that could be the thing that unlocks the potential this team has shown for so many years.
David Malucas in the 12 car is currently at the top of the pylon, and I believe we had him on camera having a little moment there out of turn 8, so close to the walls already. Bunch of understeer in 9.
Oh, you gotta like that.
That is perfect.
You gotta love that to kick off the 26th season for Malucas. He went P1, I think, on day 1 at the Phoenix Short Oval Open Test. He's P1 now, and he's doing it with the kind of confidence behind the wheel that is consistent with a new Team Penske hire. I love what I just saw from Malucas.
It's a Penske, at least a Penske 1-2. Now Rinus VeeKay jumps up to the top of the times for Juncos Hollinger Racing.
Changes. Oh, we see Alexander Rossi. That's down, I think, is that the turn? Oh, that's out of turn 4.
Looks like it. That's not in the runoff as the red comes out. There goes Scott Dixon, Rossi's teammate, Rasmussen. Rossi, though, keeps the car running. Let's take a look at what happened here on the brakes. It's a new asphalt patch all the way through that section, and just over-rotates things a bit at the apex, but luckily doesn't hit anything.
To take a grip of the team, take a handle of it, really become that team leader. And that's what Scott has stepped into, as you say, manipulating and molding the team that he wanted around him, putting his arm around
That was so sketch right there. Rinus VeeKay goes too wide through turn 11 and 12, and I think there was either some indecision from Scotty Mack, like he lifted to get a gap, and then VeeKay was going to press it. But James, that can be a massive shunt. Even in just this first practice, the marbles can grow quite easily to the outside line, and that was too close for comfort if I'm Scotty Mack.
We saw McLaughlin back off at that section earlier on the previous lap. That was when Christian Rasmussen went around him. And the reason they do that is the alternate start-finish line, where the lap times are ultimately start and stopped in practice and qualifying, is right on that little straight just after turn 12. But let's take another look here. So Scotty's backing off from Rasmussen to try to get that gap, and right there, as you say, no indecision from Rinus on that one.
Yeah.
You can't have. 101.69, my goodness, and that's Joseph Newgarden.
Oh boy, that looks like
corner.
It's turn 13.
He had just gone 9th fastest, and that is not a small one. That's the final corner.
Yeah, but actually, left side of that car. Let's listen.
Out a second.
They say can't get it out a second? Because these
See
cars
that skid mark right here? I
probably lost it coming out of the chicane.
Spun, and I think it might have ramped
grass,
it over that apex curb.
But as you say, T-Bell, I don't think he got into the wall too hard. The left side of that car looks pretty intact.
We've said that before, though, and then we get a replay. And sometimes they're bigger hits, but wonder if he dropped right sides at the exit at 12, just got a little wide and locked up. And
Jonathan Duguid on the left, Luke Mason, his engineer, on the right. AMR safety team on the scene. The red flag will mean he gets a 5-minute hold when he does get going. He's just asking for the car to be rocked. I think he's stuck in gear. They run pretty tall gears. In the lower ones, you're using first gear on the racetrack, so it's a tall gear. You can't pull away in second. Joseph trying to just get the car into neutral, into first gear. You can use that hybrid system to restart the car, but not if you're stuck in the wrong gear.
Get going. This is where he begins to lose it. The rear starts to step out, and you'll see there, he turns the wheel to try to catch it and is already backwards and over the curbs.
But it doesn't, it looks like the dirt did its job slowing the car down.
I think he managed to avoid the barrier completely.
But he hasn't been able to restart the car. Normally with the hybrid system, you can fire it back up. We saw him stuck in gear as the safety team rolled him back and forth.
And guys, I think he was in a little bit of a normal slip angle, but this left front, watch this, it just clips that apex and gets the car to take a little bit of a hop, and he was already in a nice four-wheel slip slide, but that just tipped it over.
He said he had all the toys at his disposal at Penske. He's the first driver to bring the soft tire onto his car today, out on track and pushing. Currently fourth fast.
Oh, don't ruin that softy.
Lock up and probably a fat spot now on that set of softs.
And that's what he was thinking, James, there, rolling the brake off. He's like, I don't want to go off track, but I don't want to flat spot this thing. And you've been in that situation many times like me, and it's that debate with yourself. Save the tire, but don't wreck the car. I've got to use some brake to slow up. So that right front, Firestone just not quite ready for Malucas to push like that into turn 13. You know, when we talked to Malucas in the offseason, as we take another look at the moment, I'll hold off for a second here. Watch that right front. But he does a good job to keep it rolling.
Great job of keeping it rolling, Townsend. I don't think that tire's damaged at all. You've lost a lap, you know, of the good grippy rubber from a new tire, but he still have some meat on that.
That's a kid who did wood shop like in 8th grade and understands how a lathe works.
Let's talk about this team, ECR. A lot of investment made over the winter, and in talking to Rossi and Rasmussen in the off-season, there's a real confidence from both drivers. Rasmussen, of course, who took his first win in 2025. Such an exciting and energizing driver for this championship. But Rossi, who hasn't won now in a number of seasons, moved to ECR. The objective was rebuild the team. They think they found something, and testing went really well.
They think they found something well, not just at one type of racetrack, at multiple types of racetracks. And, you know, we saw this big investment come in last season with Ted Geloff and the Heartland group there. You see Splenda, Java House on those cars. And as we all know, it doesn't happen overnight. So we didn't maybe see as big a gain in 2025 as maybe some people were expecting. But everybody at the team knew it was going to take a bit of time this offseason, 6 months. It's long, but that's a great opportunity for a team to really refine some processes and procedures, maybe bring some people in, maybe attack some of the issues that have been plaguing them and holding them back. And right now it's starting to show.
Rasmussen goes to P1, and I think outside of the technical bits at ECR, I also love that they organized their own combine for recruiting athletes, much like NASCAR teams do, to come in and try out, audition for a chance to go over the wall and service the car on a pit stop. Ted Geloff comes from a football background, a football player at Purdue, and so he understands opening up the universe of athletic potential to improve his organization.
We've seen that in NASCAR. Do you think that will transition over here? If a team like ECR starts it, you think others will follow?
Absolutely, and it's not just with the personnel. I know they're using some data analytic technology also from the NASCAR world to optimize every little granular detail of their pit stop performance. So that's really where I think you could measure year-over-year pit stop performance. Is time on pit lane for ECR is a number I'll be watching closely. Not as close, though, as Rasmussen just came to the wall at the exit of turn 10.
Rasmussen back to the top, 101.4.
Let's take a look at this again. We saw something similar out of Malucas. That's over exiting
Perfect.
9 with a kiss. And we saw it similar in turn 10 on the other side of the car. So, but still, how about Kiffin Simpson? 3/10 quicker. So Rasmussen is driving wall to wall. What was Kiffin Simpson doing to find 3/10 on the 21?
And as we're watching the Norwegian nightmare, Dennis Hauger, the 2025 Indy Next champion, he's just come back out. He's on the used harder tire. They'll get to their red run here in a little bit later on. But Dennis is so talented, and for a guy who's coming in as a rookie, I've never seen anybody put in so much prep and hard work. Talking with Dale Coy, not only his strategist but also the team owner, he was just singing this young man's praises, and gotta be a guy who we're going to watch all season long with massively keen interest.
It's an interesting update from Jack there. You may be wondering, well, you know, how can they wait much longer? There's only 5 minutes left in the session. Don't forget, folks, and if you're new to IndyCar this year, the rookies get to run both of these final sessions at the end of practice. So Dennis doing this one on the hard, little lock up on the right front and deep and off. But he will take part in the second session and will likely run his softs in that one.
But with the risk of sprinkles, I
your sprinkles, man.
wonder why would you not just put your rookie on the softs right now to make sure that you get some rub in? What are you shaking your head?
Because you got to go for glory. The track's going to be better in the second session. You got to try to be as fast as possible. I see a red flag out. Oh, big accident.
And that's Scott Dixon.
That's turn 9.
Oh boy, and we've seen this. We almost know why this happened, but I don't see any damage to the right front. Oftentimes that's the crash is clipping
100%. He just has to brush. He just has to brush the apex wall right here. The smallest amount.
He's on stickers. You can see there's nowhere to the right front. So did he touch or did it just push unexpectedly on cold tires? But that is a massive hit.
Let's take a look. Only one way to find out.
Yeah.
Oh, he oversteered going in.
Yes.
Overcorrected and then straight in the wall, and Malucas just getting through.
Oh, man.
Oh. Scott, heads up.
Dave
started trying to go back driver's left, but kept it driver's right, leaving that car width. But
little Dave found a little gap, just barely.
Oh, that one hurts.
That's going to be a lot of work for the PNC crew.
And
tonight.
for the 6-time champion, this is one of, statistically, his least good circuits. Never had a pole here, never had a win here. This then a replay of what happened. Did he get any of the barrier on the inside?
I think, James, you called it. I think he just was a little loose on entry. There was a little hoppity-hoppity at the back end of the car. I don't think he clipped that inside wall. I think it was just oversteer and it snapped kind of a high side, like a MotoGP high side at the apex, and it squared up and heavy into the fence. This guy, Malucas, so lucky to find room through.
So Louis Foster getting out of his car, which we saw in the barrier just a moment ago. And it's the final corner. He just set the fastest final sector, but gets the braking wrong.
And this, I mean, it's so close to what we saw Malucas do. Malucas just able to slow it up enough to stay off the grass, because you can see there's not a lot of room from the end of the pavement to the tire barrier. So once you hit that grass, it's almost inevitable you're going to end up in the barrier.
New name to the top, and it's Romain Grosjean. 102.847, has a pole position around this track, came so close to victory around this track in a side-by-side with Scott McLaughlin that saw them both end up in the barriers. Heartbreak for them both, but particularly for Romain Grosjean, who saw that first and still yet to come victory in IndyCar just go through his fingers.
You know, Townsend, you mentioned the track temperature a little bit earlier being cooler than normal with this cloud cover, 79.5 degrees. Oh, little contact there, out of 9, the same amount that we've seen a couple times and guys get away with. That looked a little harder.
A little heavier.
But it doesn't seem to have slowed him down. He's still hustling into turn 10, using everything on the exit of 10. Let's see the lap time here to the, Kirkwood to the top.
101.1 from Kirkwood. That compares very favorably with what we saw from Kiffin Simpson. I think was also a 101.1, but Kirkwood just slightly quicker by just 1/1000th of a second, I believe. So Kirkwood and Andretti showing the pace. That puts a little pressure now, Will, on Will Power, who just went long there in the brake zone for turn 1 to figure out how to match Kirkwood or even get close.
One of the big questions I had is how quickly can Will Power adapt to a new situation? He's joining a team in Andretti that is fantastic on street races. He's as fast as anyone ever, 9 poles at this place. But he just said a few moments ago, the car is just impossible. He's not happy with how it is right now. And we see he was 11th on the chart in this session.
It looks like he's struggling on the brakes, guys. I mean, we obviously saw that moment into turn 1, but then I saw that other lockup into turn 10. I saw him trying to warm the brakes on one of his prep laps through the kink on the back straight. I wonder if maybe there's something just on the left pedal that he's struggling with, not giving him the feedback that he needs, the comfort that he needs. And you know what it's like, T-Bell. When you hit the brakes, the car doesn't talk to you immediately. I mean, that's the first input you're giving it going into a corner. If it's disconnected there, everything else is a huge struggle.
Yeah, but the good news is for Will Power is his teammate Kyle Kirkwood and Marcus Ericsson, both those Andretti cars looking very, very sporty at a 101.1. And Rosenquist also doing a great job there to be in second. So Ganassi, Penske, no surprise there. Andretti, the top three again so far today.